KP is still that guy. Kristaps Porzingis has been absolutely incredible this season. When he's healthy and locked in, there's no doubt he's playing like a true superstar. Watching him dominate the way he has, it's impossible not to feel excited about what he's bringing to the table. And the best part, his numbers aren't just good, they're elite, showing exactly why he's such a game changer. Let's start with the basics. KP is averaging 18.5 points per game, pulling down 7 rebounds, and dishing out just over 1.5 assists. He's shooting an efficient 45.3% from the field, but his impact goes way beyond those raw stats. On the defensive end, he's blocking 1.4 shots per game. That's rim protection at its finest. Add in his ability to space the floor, and you've got a player who's causing nightmares for opposing teams on both ends. And how about this for dominance? KP is leading the entire league in points per possession on post-ups this season, putting up 1.26. That's ahead of some of the league's best scorers, including Franz Wagner at 1.23 and even Joel Embiid at 1.20. Think about that for a second. He's outpacing an MVP in this category. When KP gets the ball down low, it's as close to automatic as it gets. Of course, consistency has been the name of the game for the Celtics this season, and KP is right at the heart of it. The team looks completely different when he's on the floor, and for good reason. His presence changes everything. They play a unique style with him, one that takes advantage of his ability to stretch the floor, protect the rim, and dominate in the post. But it's clear they're still adjusting to having him out there and to how opposing teams are guarding them now that he's part of the lineup. Take a look at some of his recent performances and you'll see why he's been so special. Against the Kings, KP put up 22 points, shooting 4 of 7 from beyond the arc, and grabbed 10 rebounds. That's the kind of performance that shows just how versatile he is. A 7'2" player hitting threes like that, it's almost unfair. And in the game before that, he went off for 25 points on 9 of 18 shooting, with 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Those are numbers you'd expect from a franchise cornerstone, and KP delivered them with ease. But his greatness isn't just about individual games, it's about how he's been able to string together elite performances and make a lasting impact. Here's a fun stat. KP is one of just 6 players in NBA history to record multiple seasons with 100 or more assists, blocks, and three-pointers. That's an insanely rare combination of skills, showcasing his ability to do it all. He's not just a scorer or a defender, he's both, and he excelled at both at an elite level. Last season, his impact was just as clear. When you look at 5-man lineups that played at least 600 minutes, the Celtics lineup with KP posted the second highest net rating in the league at +11. Only Denver's starting 5 had a better rating. To be in that kind of company speaks volumes about how valuable KP is. And it's not just about the numbers, it's about how he elevates the entire team. The Celtics were one of only 3 teams to post a double-digit net rating in those minutes, showing how much KP's presence matters. It's important to remember that KP's season hasn't been without its challenges. He missed the first 17 games of the season and has been sidelined for 6 more since then. But even with those absences, his impact is undeniable. The Celtics are a different team when he's on the floor, and opponents have to adjust their entire game plan to deal with him. That alone speaks to how much of a force he is. His ability to stretch the floor with his shooting, protect the rim with his shot blocking, and create opportunities for his teammates is a rare combination that makes him one of the most valuable players in the league. And let's not forget how he's helped unlock a new dimension for the Celtics. With KP on the floor, the team has more spacing, more versatility, and more options on both ends of the court. He's the kind of player who forces defenses to pick their poison. Do they guard him on the perimeter and risk leaving the paint open, or do they collapse inside and leave him open for 3? Either way, it's a problem. And for the Celtics, it's a massive advantage. By the way, if you guys enjoy these deep dives, I'll be posting every day during the season. I genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. Thanks. Anyways, KP. Another area where he's been shining is his versatility. He's not just a one-dimensional player. He can score in the post, hit from deep, protect the rim, and even make plays for his teammates. That kind of all-around game is what every team dreams of in a big man. And KP isn't just doing it, he's excelling at it. The Celtics are still figuring out the perfect way to utilize KP. But one thing's for sure, they're on the right track. When you have a player of his caliber, it's about maximizing every opportunity, and they're getting closer to doing just that. KP's ability to impact the game in so many different ways makes him a player you simply can't ignore. And as the season goes on, it's only going to get better. KP's season has been nothing short of remarkable, from his dominant post-ups to his elite shooting, to his ability to anchor the defense, he's proving that he's one of the best in the league. And with the way he's been playing, there's no doubt he's going to be a key part of the Celtics' success moving forward. It's been a joy to watch him this season, and there's every reason to believe he's just getting started. But for him, it's really when you dig into the advanced stats, you can see how great he's been. KP's advanced shooting stats this season have been nothing short of outstanding. He's been putting up numbers that prove just how effective and efficient he is on the offensive end. Let's dive right into it, because his production is worth every bit of attention. To start, KP's scoring output of 18.5 points per game is impressive on its own, but what makes it even better is how he's doing it. His true shooting percentage sits at 58.2%. which is better than 63% of players in the league. That's an elite mark for someone with his volume of shots. True shooting percentage is such a valuable stat because it factors in everything: field goal, three-pointers, and free throw. It gives a full picture of how efficient a player is at converting their scoring opportunity. And KP's number here is elite, but what really jumps out is his points per scoring attempt. He's averaging 1.2 points every time he takes a shot. Think about that for a moment. Every time KP gets the ball and takes a shot, he's generating more than a point on average. That's the kind of efficiency that coaches dream about. It's no wonder he's become such a critical piece of the Celtics offense this season. What makes KP's scoring even more impressive is the way he gets it done. He's not relying on just one area of the court. His shot selection is smart, and he's finding ways to maximize his efficiency from everywhere. Whether it's knocking down jumpers, finishing at the rim, or making the most of his free throw opportunities, KP is consistently delivering high-value points. That level of versatility makes him so hard to defend and elevates his entire team. Speaking of versatility, KP's free throw shooting has been another bright spot. With 5.2 free throw attempts per game, he's showing that he's not afraid to draw contact and get to the line. And when he's there, he's cashing in. Free throws are often overlooked, but they're such a crucial part of efficient scoring. KP's ability to get to the line and convert those opportunities is a big reason why his true shooting percentage is so strong. Now, let's talk about how KP stacks up against other players in the league. His true shooting percentage being better than 63% of players is a massive deal. It's not easy to maintain that level of efficiency, especially when you're taking as many shots as KP does. His field goal attempts per game sit at 13.4, and yet he's still scoring at such an efficient clip. That combination of volume and efficiency puts him in elite company. And here's another fun stat. KP is outscoring more than 88% of players in the league with his 18.5 points per game. That's not just good, that's elite. When you pair that with his scoring efficiency, it becomes clear that KP is one of the most productive offensive players in the game right now. He's not just putting up numbers, he's doing it in a way that maximizes every possession. One of the most fascinating things about KP's advanced shooting stats is how they reflect his understanding of the game. He's not just a talented scorer, he's a smart one. He knows where his best spots are on the court, and he's taking advantage of them. That level of awareness is what separates great players from good ones. It's one thing to have the physical tools, but it's another to pair that with the mental side of the game. KP has both, and it shows in the numbers. His ability to create efficient scoring opportunities also has a ripple effect on his teammates. When KP is on the floor, defenses have to account for him at all time. That opens up space for the rest of the team to operate. His shooting gravity is a real thing. It forces opponents to make tough decisions about how to defend him. Do they focus on stopping KP and risk leaving others open, or do they play him straight up and hope for the best? Either way, it's a problem for the defense and a win for the Celtics. KP's points per scoring attempt stat is particularly eye-catching because it highlights just how valuable he is on a per-play basis. At 1.2 points per attempt, he's among the most efficient players in the league. That kind of production isn't just good for individual success, it's a huge asset for the team. When a player is that effective every time they touch the ball, it takes so much pressure off the rest of the offense. What's also impressive is that KP is maintaining this level of efficiency despite being a focal point for opposing defenses. He's not flying under the radar. Teams know they have to stop him, and yet he's still finding ways to be incredibly effective. That speaks to his skill, his basketball IQ, and his ability to rise to the challenge. It's one thing to be efficient when nobody is paying attention, but it's a whole different level to do it when everyone's game planning against you. Another thing that stands out about KP's advanced shooting stats is how consistent they've been. Efficiency can sometimes fluctuate for players, especially when they're taking a lot of shots. but KP has managed to stay steady. That kind of reliability is so valuable, especially over the course of a long season. It gives the Celtics a dependable scoring option that they can count on night in and night out. KP's advanced shooting stats also reflect his ability to adapt. He's not a one-dimensional player, and his numbers show that he can thrive in different situations, whether it's scoring off the catch, creating his own shot, or taking advantage of mismatches. KP is finding ways to be effective. That adaptability makes him such a tough player to guard and such a valuable piece for the Celtics. It's clear that KP's efficiency isn't just a fluke, it's the result of a combination of factors. His skill set, his understanding of the game, and his ability to execute are all coming together to produce these elite numbers. And as the season goes on, there's every reason to believe that he'll continue to build on this success. With the way he's been playing, it's hard not to be excited about what he's bringing to the table. KP is proving that he's not just good, he's special. But then we can look at his defense. KP's advanced defensive stats this season have been incredible. He's showing why he's such a valuable anchor for the team on that end of the floor. Whether it's individual defense or helping out as a team defender, KP's impact is undeniable, and the numbers back it up in a big way. Let's start with his ability to protect the rim. KP is averaging 1.4 blocks per game, which puts him among the best shot blockers in the league. But it's not just about the blocks themselves, it's about how he alters shots, even when he doesn't get his hands on the ball. Opponents have to think twice before attacking the paint when KP is in the game, and that kind of presence makes life so much harder for anyone trying to score inside. On the boards, KP has been rock solid, pulling down 5.3 defensive rebounds per game. That's not just cleaning up misses, it's about finishing defensive possessions. Grabbing those boards means the other team isn't getting second chances, and KP's ability to secure those rebounds is a big part of why the team's defense has been effective. Defensive rebounding is often overlooked, but it's such a crucial part of the game, and KP is doing his part to make sure the team doesn't give up easy putbacks. Now let's talk about mixed team defense. KP ranks better than 85% of players in this category, which measures how well he prevents opponents from scoring as part of a team system, as well as his individual defense. That's an elite mark and speaks to his ability to fit seamlessly into the team's defensive scheme. He's not just good in one-on-one situations. He's a defender who knows how to communicate, rotate, and make sure everyone is in the right spot. Team defensive efficiency is another area where KP's impact is clear. When he's on the floor, the team's defensive efficiency sits at 112.6. While that number might not pop out at first, it's important to understand the context. Defensive efficiency measures how many points a team gives up per 100 possessions. With KP anchoring the defense, they're forcing opponents into tough shots and making them work for everything they get. One of the most impressive things about KP's defense is how well-rounded it is. He's not just a shot blocker or a rebounder, he's doing a little bit of everything. His steal numbers might not jump off the page at 0.7 per game, but that's not a knock on his defense. It just shows that his focus is on using his length and positioning to make life difficult for opponents. He's more about contesting shots, disrupting passing lanes, and being in the right spot at the right time than gambling for steals. KP's presence on the floor also allows his teammates to play more aggressively on the perimeter. Knowing there's a shot blocker like KP behind them gives perimeter defenders the confidence to pressure their assignments without worrying about getting burned at the rim. That kind of safety net is invaluable, and it's a big reason why the team has been able to stay competitive defensively this season. Another aspect of KP's defense that stands out is how well he defends without fouling. Big men often struggle to stay on the court because they pick up cheap fouls, but KP has done a great job of contesting shots and protecting the paint without getting himself into foul trouble. That discipline is so important because it means he can stay on the floor and continue to make an impact. What's also impressive about KP is his ability to adapt to different matchups. He's not just effective against traditional big men, he's shown he can hold his own against quicker, more athletic players as well. That kind of versatility makes him a perfect fit for today's NBA, where teams are constantly switching and looking for mismatches. KP's size, length, and mobility allow him to handle a wide variety of assignments, and that flexibility is a huge asset. The advanced stats don't just highlight what KP is doing individually, they also show how he's helping the entire team. His ability to protect the rim and rebound allows the guards and wings to focus more on their assignments without having to constantly worry about what's happening behind them. And his communication on defense ensures that everyone is on the same page. That kind of leadership doesn't always show up in the box score, but it's just as important as any block or rebound. KP's defensive impact goes beyond the numbers, but the numbers are still incredible. Ranking in the top 15% of players in mixed team defense is a huge accomplishment, and it shows how well he's been able to integrate into the team's defensive system. That's not something that happens overnight. It takes basketball IQ, hard work, and a commitment to playing the right way. And let's not forget the psychological impact of having someone like KP on the court. Opponents know he's there, and it changes the way they play. Drivers hesitate before attacking the rim, shooters rush their shots, and offensive players second-guess their decisions because they know KP is lurking. That kind of presence is hard to quantify, but it's a real advantage for the team. KP's ability to anchor the defense is even more impressive when you consider the challenges of the modern NBA. Teams are shooting more threes than ever, spacing the floor and playing at a faster pace. Despite all of that, KP has found a way to remain a dominant defensive force. His combination of size, length, and mobility allows him to thrive in an environment where many traditional big men struggle. The consistency KP has shown on defense is another reason why his advanced stats are so strong. He's not just having the occasional good game, he's bringing it night in and night out. That kind of reliability is huge for the team because it gives them a foundation to build around. Knowing KP is going to be there to protect the rim, grab rebounds, and make smart decisions makes it so much easier for the team to stay locked in defensively. KP's defensive stats this season are a testament to how much he's grown as a player. He's always had the tools, but now he's putting it all together in a way that's making a real difference. Whether it's his shot blocking, his rebounding, or his ability to anchor the team's defense, KP is proving that he's one of the best defensive big men in the league. And with the way he's been playing, there's every reason to believe he's only going to get better. And we can also look at his advanced rebounding number. KP's advanced rebounding stats this season have been nothing short of incredible. He's been a dominant force on the glass, showing just how valuable he is to the team in both offensive and defensive situations. Every time he's on the floor, you can see his effort, positioning, and instincts at work, and the numbers absolutely back it up. First off, let's look at his overall rebounding number. KP is averaging 7 rebounds per game, which puts him ahead of 82% of players in the league. That's already impressive, but it only scratches the surface of just how good he's been. The advanced stats reveal even more about his impact, especially when you break it down into offensive and defensive rebound. On the offensive glass, KP is pulling in 1.7 offensive rebounds per game. That might not seem like a massive number at first glance, but when you dig into the percentages, it's clear he's making a real difference. His offensive rebound percentage, meaning the percentage of available offensive rebounds he grabs while on the floor, is 5.64%. That puts him ahead of 69% of players. Those numbers show he's not just hanging around the perimeter, he's actively crashing the boards and creating extra possessions for the team. And extra possessions, they're invaluable in a game where every opportunity matters. Now let's talk about KP's work on the defensive boards, where he's been even more dominant. He's averaging 5.3 defensive rebounds per game, and his defensive rebound percentage is a whopping 17.91%. That's better than 80% of players in the league. Think about that, 80%. It means that nearly 1 in 5 defensive rebounds available while he's on the floor ends up in KP's hands. That kind of production is what you want from a big man anchoring your defense. The combination of offensive and defensive rebounding makes KP a complete force on the boards. His ability to grab rebounds in both scenarios means he's contributing on every possession, whether it's ending an opponent's opportunity or giving his team a second chance to score. And let's not overlook how much work goes into being that effective. Rebounding isn't just about size, it's about effort, positioning, and timing, and KP brings all of that to the table. One thing that really stands out about KP's rebounding is how consistent he's been. It's one thing to have a few big games on the glass, but KP has been delivering night in and night out. That kind of reliability is so important for a team. Knowing that KP is going to secure rebounds on both ends gives his teammates confidence and allows the team to play at their best. Whether he's boxing out bigger players or out-jumping smaller ones, KP gets the job done. His work on the boards is also a huge reason why the team's defense has been so effective. Defensive rebounding is a crucial part of playing good defense because it prevents second-chance opportunities. When KP is on the floor, the team knows they can count on him to clean up missed shots and get them moving in transition. That's not just valuable, it's game-changing. On the offensive end, KP's rebounding is all about hustle and awareness. Offensive boards aren't easy to come by, especially in today's NBA, where spacing and perimeter shooting often take players away from the basket. But KP's ability to track the ball and fight for position means he's still finding ways to grab those extra possessions. Those 1.7 offensive rebounds per game might seem small compared to his defensive numbers, but their impact is huge. Every one of those offensive rebounds is a chance for his team to reset and score. Another thing to note is how KP's rebounding fits into the team's overall system. He's not just grabbing rebounds because he's tall, he's doing it in a way that complements the team's style of play. On the defensive end, he's positioning himself perfectly to secure rebound without taking them away from teammates who are already in better positions to start the break. On offense, his rebounding often comes from outworking his opponent or using his length to tip the ball to himself in traffic. It's those little details that make him such a complete player on the boards. KP's rebounding also has a psychological effect on opponents. Knowing that he's out there grabbing nearly 18% of available defensive rebounds while he's on the floor makes teams think twice about their shot selection. They know they're not likely to get second chances, so they're forced to be more careful with their initial attempts. That kind of presence is hard to quantify, but it's a real advantage for his team. What's also impressive about KP's rebounding is how well he's doing it in today's NBA. The game has changed so much, with more three-point shooting and less traditional post play, which makes rebounding even more challenging. Long rebounds, unpredictable bounces, and players spreading the floor mean you have to be sharp and adaptable to grab boards consistently. KP has shown he's up to the task, combining his size, athleticism, and instincts to stay ahead of the competition. Rebounding might not always get the same attention as scoring or blocking shots, but it's one of the most important parts of the game, and KP is excelling at it. His advanced stats show that he's not just grabbing rebounds, he's doing it at an elite level. His percentages and consistency put him in the top tier of players, and it's clear he's making a massive impact. KP's ability to dominate the glass is a big reason why his team has been able to compete at such a high level this season. Whether it's ending an opponent's possession or giving his team another chance to score, his rebounding is a difference maker. It's not flashy, but it's incredibly effective, and it's the kind of skill that every great team needs. When you break down KP's advanced rebounding stats, it's clear he's one of the best in the league. His mix of size, effort, and basketball IQ makes him a force to be reckoned with on the boards. And with the way he's been playing, there's no reason to think he won't keep dominating in this area. KP has been an absolute beast on the glass, and it's been a huge part of his success this season. But one really underrated and crazy thing has been his usage numbers. KP's advanced usage stats this season have been incredible. He's proving just how effective and efficient he can be when he's a central part of the offense. Usage rate measures how much a player is involved in offensive plays that end with a shot, free throw attempt, assist, or turnover. And KP's usage rate of 25.5% puts him ahead of 84% of players in the league. That's a huge number for someone playing such a critical role. The way KP handles this level of usage is impressive. Think about it. He's involved in over a quarter of the team's offensive plays when he's on the court. That's a significant load, and it shows the trust the team has in him to deliver. Whether he's taking a shot, drawing fouls to get to the line, or setting up teammates with assists, KP is constantly involved in the action. When you break down his offensive actions, the numbers tell the story of a highly efficient player. KP is averaging 13.4 field goal attempts per game and getting to the free throw line 5.2 times. Those numbers show he's not just taking shots, he's finding ways to make the most of his opportunities. And let's not overlook his 1.6 assists per game. While it might not seem like a huge number, it's still a key part of his game. He's keeping the ball moving and helping create opportunities for others when defenses collapse on him. What's really impressive is how KP balances his offensive load while keeping his turnovers low. At just 0.9 turnovers per game, he's showing that he can handle a high usage rate without making costly mistakes. Turnovers can be a big problem for players with a lot of offensive responsibilities, but KP is managing that pressure incredibly well. His ability to make smart decisions with the ball is a big reason why his usage rate is so effective. Another key stat to look at is KP's total possessions played, which comes in at 59.1 per game. That means he's consistently involved in the team's offensive flow, keeping things moving and making plays happen. This level of involvement highlights his importance to the team's overall strategy. He's not just a role player filling in gaps, he's a central piece of the puzzle, and the numbers prove it. KP's usage rate isn't just about how often he's involved in the offense, it's also about how well he performs in those situations. His ability to maintain efficiency while carrying such a significant load is what sets him apart from so many other players. It's one thing to have a high usage rate, but it's another to deliver at the level KP does. He's converting his opportunities into points, making plays for others, and minimizing mistakes. That's what you want from a player with this kind of responsibility. His usage stats also show how versatile he is as an offensive player. He's not just a scorer, he's a complete offensive weapon. KP's ability to score inside and out, draw fouls, and pass out of double teams makes him incredibly tough to guard. Opponents can't focus on just one aspect of his game because he's capable of hurting them in so many different ways. That kind of versatility is a nightmare for defenses and a huge asset for the team. The numbers also highlight KP's efficiency in key areas. His ability to draw fouls and get to the free throw line 5.2 times per game is a major part of his success. Free throws are some of the most efficient points you can get in basketball, and KP's knack for drawing contact and converting those opportunities is a big reason why his usage rate is so effective. He's not just taking a lot of shots, he's maximizing his scoring chances. KP's usage stats also reflect how well he fits into the team's offensive system. He's not forcing shots or trying to do too much. He's playing within the flow of the game and making smart decisions. That kind of discipline is so important for a player with a high usage rate. It's easy to get caught up in trying to do everything, but KP has shown he knows how to pick his spots and make the most of them. Another thing that stands out is how KP's usage rate compares to other players in the league. Being ahead of 84% of players is no small feat, especially when you consider the level of talent in today's NBA. It's a testament to how impactful KP has been and how much trust the team has in him to lead the off. That kind of responsibility isn't given lightly, and KP has earned it with his play. What makes KP's usage stats even more impressive is the context of the modern NBA. With the game evolving to emphasize pace, space, and versatility, players with KP's skill set are more valuable than ever. His ability to stretch the floor, attack mismatches, and make plays for his teammates fits perfectly into this style of play. And his usage stats show he's thriving in this environment, taking full advantage of his opportunities to make an impact. KP's advanced usage stats are also a reflection of his basketball IQ. Managing a high usage rate requires more than just talent. It takes smart decision-making, awareness, and a deep understanding of the game. KP has shown he possesses all of those qualities, and it's why he's been able to handle such a significant offensive role so effectively. His ability to read defenses, find open spaces, and capitalize on mismatches is what makes him so dangerous. The numbers don't lie. KP has been phenomenal in his role this season. His usage rate, combined with his efficiency and low turnover numbers, paints the picture of a player who's not just handling a big workload, but excelling in it. He's making the most of every opportunity and proving that he's one of the most impactful offensive players in the league. KP's usage stats this season are a testament to how good he's been and how much he means to the team. Whether it's taking the shot, drawing the foul, setting up a teammate, or simply keeping the offense flowing, he's making things happen at an elite level. His advanced numbers show just how special he's been, and there's no doubt he's one of the key reasons for the team's success this season. It's been a joy to watch him thrive in this role, and the numbers only make it clearer how valuable he is. I want to look at some more in-depth defensive stats though. Let's start with his defensive rebounding, which has been a big part of his success. KP's defensive rebounding number of 1.4 puts him in the 93rd percentile. That's not just good, that's elite. Defensive rebounding is one of the most crucial parts of any defense because it ends possessions for the opponent. KP's ability to secure the ball and prevent second chance opportunities is a huge asset for his team. Then there's his rim defense, which has been absolutely stellar. KP's rim defense impact is measured at -16.6, which ranks in the 99th percentile. That's as good as it gets. What this stat shows is how much KP is affecting shots near the rim. Opponents are shooting significantly worse when he's there. That kind of rim protection is invaluable because it forces teams to adjust their entire approach when attacking the basket. Now, let's talk about rim frequency. Opponents are only attacking the rim 38.8% of the time when KP is on the floor, which ranks in the 70th percentile. That's a clear sign of how much he deters drives. Players are actively avoiding the paint because they know KP is waiting to contest their shots. It's not just about the blocks, it's about the presence. And speaking of blocks, KP's block percentage of 5.2 puts him in the 95th percentile. That's an elite mark and shows just how effective he is at swatting shots and altering attempts. One stat that really highlights KP's impact is his crafted defensive plus-minus, DPM, which measures his overall defensive value. KP's score of 1.8 ranks in the 91st percentile. That means he's adding significant value to his team's defense every time he's on the court. This stat takes into account everything: rim protection, rebounding, and even how his presence affects the flow of the opposing offense. It's the kind of number you want to see from a defensive anchor. KP's versatility, which measures his ability to guard multiple positions, comes in at 25, putting him in the 34th percentile. While this might seem low, it's actually not a negative. KP's role isn't about switching onto guards or wings, it's about dominating the paint and protecting the rim. His impact comes from being an elite presence around the basket, and the other stats clearly show he's excelling in that role. Another interesting stat is his relative personal foul rate, RPF, which is measured at 0.4, ranking in the 38th percentile. While this number isn't as eye-popping as some of his others, it's a reflection of his ability to contest shots and play physical defense without fouling excessively. That discipline is so important for a player who spends so much time protecting the paint. Staying out of foul trouble means KP can stay on the court longer and continue making an impact. What's really exciting about KP's defensive numbers is how well they fit together. His elite rim defense, block percentage, and defensive rebounding show a complete picture of a player who's not just good at one aspect of defense. He's excelling across the board. He's the kind of player who makes everyone around him better by shutting down the paint, securing rebounds, and forcing opponents into tough shots. KP's ability to consistently rank in the top percentiles in these advanced stats is a testament to his hard work and defensive IQ. These numbers aren't just about physical tools. They're about positioning, timing, and understanding the game. KP knows where to be, when to contest, and how to use his size and length to his advantage. That kind of awareness is what separates great defenders from good ones. Another thing that stands out about KP's advanced stats is how they translate into real-world impact. These aren't just numbers on a page. They're a reflection of what's happening on the court. When KP is out there, opponents are taking fewer shots at the rim, making fewer shots when they do get there, and losing out on second-chance opportunities. That's the kind of defensive dominance that changes games. What's even more impressive is how KP's defensive stats compare to other players in the league. Ranking in the 99th percentile in rim defense and the 95th percentile in block percentage puts him among the very best defenders in the game. These aren't just good numbers, they're elite. It's rare to see a player who can protect the rim as effectively as KP while also contributing in other areas like rebounding and overall defensive impact. KP's ability to affect the game without fouling excessively is another key part of his defensive success. His relative personal foul rate might not rank as highly as some of his other stats, but it's still a sign of his discipline and awareness. He's contesting shots and playing physical defense without putting himself in a position to pick up unnecessary foul. That's a skill that not every big man has, and it's one that makes KP even more valuable. When you look at KP's advanced defensive stats as a whole, it's clear he's one of the most impactful defenders in the league this season. His combination of rim protection, rebounding, and overall defensive presence is a huge reason why his team has been able to compete at such a high level. KP's numbers aren't just good, they're game-changing. He's proving that he's more than capable of being the defensive anchor that every great team needs. It's also worth noting how KP's defensive stats reflect his understanding of the game. These numbers don't happen by accident. They're the result of hard work, preparation, and a commitment to playing the right way. KP has shown he's willing to do whatever it takes to help his team succeed, and his advanced stats are a reflection of that effort. KP's advanced defensive stats this season have been phenomenal, from his elite rim defense to his consistent rebounding and overall impact. He's proving that he's one of the best defensive big men in the league. These numbers show just how good he's been, and there's no doubt he's a huge part of his team's success this season. KP's been a defensive powerhouse, and the stats don't just support it, they celebrate it. Overall though, KP's season has been an absolute masterclass in showcasing advanced stats that highlight his incredible impact on the game. Across the board, whether it's shooting, rebounding, defense, or his overall usage. KP has proven he's one of the most effective and efficient players in the league this year. The numbers don't just show a player who's doing well, they reveal someone who's elevating his game to elite level night in and night out. KP's ability to balance volume and efficiency is nothing short of remarkable. His true shooting percentage and points per possession stats show a player who doesn't waste opportunities. He's maximizing every touch, creating offense with precision, and maintaining a scoring efficiency that places him among the league's best. Pair that with his versatility as a shooter, and it's clear why he's such a key offensive weapon. On the boards, KP's rebounding stats tell the story of a player who understands the importance of finishing possession. His defensive rebounding numbers ensure opponents aren't getting second chances, while his offensive rebounding creates extra opportunities for his team. Being ranked in the top percentiles in both areas highlights his commitment to making an impact on every play. Defensively, KP has been a force to be reckoned with. His rim protection, block percentage, and overall defensive presence have anchored his team's ability to shut down opponents. Ranking in the 99th percentile in rim defense isn't just a statistic, it's a testament to how he changes the game for anyone daring to challenge him near the basket. And his ability to balance aggressive shot contesting with disciplined foul management means he's always on the court when it matters most. Even his usage stats reflect his value. KP's high usage rate combined with low turnovers shows a player who can handle the responsibility of being a focal point without sacrificing efficiency. He's not just taking on a big role, he's thriving in it, finding ways to contribute across every facet of the game, whether it's scoring, facilitating, or drawing fouls. KP's offensive contributions are as reliable as they are impactful. When you combine everything, his shooting, rebounding, defense, and usage, it becomes clear why KP has been such a game changer this season. He's delivering on every level, making his team better, and proving why he's such a valuable piece of their success. Whether it's through advanced stats or the eye test, KP's brilliance is impossible to ignore. This season has been a showcase of everything he brings to the table, and it's been an absolute joy to watch him put it all together.